with priorities. Yeah.
I would like to say one more thing. Yesterday I had the chance to meet two other candidates, and I have to say that I was extremely impressed with Lauren and with Mariana. That's just my opinion.
Okay, thank you, everyone. All right, I will again, like I said before, I'll open this up now for any questions that you may have. Just raise your hand, I'll recognize you, nobody will be left out, I will get to you. Just bear with us, okay? I know everybody wants to be the first to speak. Again, just please respect the people that are up here, they're volunteering their time. They want to be board members, that's a volunteer position. So we don't want an inquisition, as I said last night, so we want to keep it as respectful as possible. And I will then now open it up. So, with that said, I see one hand up right now. Danny?
I have a question for all the three candidates. I ask the question, I answer, and you tell me if wrong. To be a board member, what is the first rule a candidate have to be? And I tell you the answer, and see if you agree. It's follow the rules of the building. I'm asking you, Rudy, I'm asking you, and I'm asking you, Marvin. I've been a board meeting here, the last board meeting here, and they talk about you don't follow the order. You trying to run to be in our board, and you don't observe the rules? You're the one, for the last 10 years, spend money on people with pets and dogs and
Danny, מה
everything.
השאלה, דני? מה השאלה?
What is the...
Danny, is there a question?
Yes, yes. If a candidate can be run, if he doesn't respect the rules of the condo association, and how you feel, Udi, and you and every candidate, if somebody be on the board and he have an issue with the rule and regulation, and he be on the board, and you have to vote for it.
Okay, Danny, let me answer first, okay?
Okay?
Okay. So whatever happened in the past is in the past. We cannot correct or fix the past. We're being elected, if we're elected, to move forward. Now, let me answer your question, the original question.
Okay?
And I said that in the way that I spoke before.
Okay.
Transparency and dedication to the position, which is a voluntary position. That's how you become, that's how you run, and hopefully when you're elected, that's what you represent.
But that was not the.
That's not my question. You
Well,
have a guy over here
well,
trying to run to the board,
Danny,
trying to run to the board.
well, if I understand you clearly,
Danny, what's your
Danny,
issue and accusation? I don't
well,
know.
Danny, if I understand you clearly, what you're saying is, how can you possibly be offering yourself to run on the board of administration of the association, which basically is responsible to administer the rules and regulation, if you are currently not compliant and following the rules? That's his
So
question.
is that your question?
Yes. And I'm asking this to Marvin.
Oh, so you're only asking one person now?
Yes, and all of them. But especially to Marvin.
All right.
Well, what's the rule that's being broken, Danny, that you're accusing me of?
I've been a meeting over here, the last board meeting, they pose you with $100 fee regarding a dog. I don't know if you know about it.
What do you?
Yes.
Okay, but Danny.
Yes, I want everybody to know. That's what was in the meeting. He doesn't even know.
Okay, but the question is.
The question is
Yes.
how the guy running and doesn't respect the rules, doesn't respect me as a tenant over here.
What's the rule?
What's the rule? You have...
Excuse me, wait a minute. See,
Okay,
Okay,
Mark,
Let me just-
explain it to him,
Please.
what I'm talking about,
Right.
you know.
What we're talking, what's being, what's being, wait, please, we're getting out of hand. What Danny is referring to is that one of the issues that has come up is that you currently have a dog that has not been approved by the association, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Based
the
on
board-
that fact, based on that fact, the last meeting of the board that Danny is talking about, a $100 fine was applied for the violation.
I'm not aware of it.
Okay, well, that was up to, again, management to make sure that you would be aware of it, because you should have gotten
Wasn't
a
aware of
letter.
anything.
Okay.
But,
He's not aware of it.
It doesn't matter. They have emails, they have everything they send you. They're asking you for paper and everything.
My suggestion would be, I'm not an attorney, but my suggestion would be, Mr. Liver, is that you would need to consult an attorney and Mark, because whether or not one has received a fine or a notice from the applicable authority, it's not an excuse when you go to court. I can't, if I go to court and I said, Your Honor, I never received the citation that was sent to me, it's not a good defense.
Let Paul answer the question, please. He asked the three of them. Well, but please, let him answer the question.
I am, but, you know, he needs to be recognized as well, so that's all we're trying to do is keep order, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind it at all, but let him
Then
answer.
let's keep the outburst down, okay? Come on, let's do it.
It's not an outburst. It's you're cutting him off because you don't want him to talk.
No, I do want to. Okay, but the point was that the question was asked first of him, and again, I had said, you know, you may not like the answer, right? But you gotta honor that answer anyway, right? Whether it's right, wrong, and different, and I get that. So, you know, we can wind up with everybody's question and answer, and if we don't like it, then everybody's gonna jump in to try to correct or do, or make changes to it. I just think that we should honor it. If that's the way Marvin feels, again, so be it. Again, your ultimate response to that is gonna be whether or not you're gonna vote for him or not.
No, that's unacceptable because it's part of the requirement. It's part of the requirement to be qualified to be a candidate. So to have a discussion as if the issue never occurred, it's a disqualification. We have actually owners here, other persons that they were disqualified because their maintenance pay was returned via an automated system. Persons who have been paying forever for 28 years for many minute things. So if we're going to apply the rules differently for some persons, it should be across the board. Because we're establishing a precedent and we're exposing ourselves to liabilities.
So basically.
Excuse me. Now that I know Danny's question, allow me to answer you, Danny, and the rest of you will understand this answer. The information that was requested of me, being that it's personal information, I will strictly share with the association's attorney. And I will tell you the reason why. Knowing what I know of theft of data taking place at two other properties that our current manager had managed, and knowing the current theft of data that's taking place of all your personal information here, I intend to keep my personal information private. And I would encourage you all to do the same. So it'll be between the association's attorney to review and validate what was requested of me.
I agree with you 100%.
So now I understand your question, and that is my
I want a legal opinion from our legal team. If you qualified legally to be a candidate, and if we have to stop the things, we stop it.
You will get the answer from the attorney, because being, like I said, that it's a
Listen, you're
personal
not a board
matter,
member.
he will
You
review
cannot
what's
call
been
for
sent
the
to him.
attorney like I cannot call the attorney. I got letter.
Danny, let's give other people.
You
also
understand?
the
I want to know legally if he's qualified. That's all I want to know.
Okay, well, again, we can get that answer, but nobody here can answer the legal question for you. Yes, ma'am.
1992. I know him very well. They know him very well. I know he's very dedicated. He's on top of everything from end to end. I know. I was only here. I'm not a homesteader here, so because I have a place in New York, but I was only here 3-4 months out of the year. But I know him very well, and this is my building, and I know he's so on top of things. Whether you like what he's doing, he's not. I know he's very dedicated. I know he goes to different places to see what equipment to get. I know that very much. So you can't say anything bad on it if you like or not. But I use the facilities and things, but the thing is now that I feel there are certain things, I know there's been changes in it, because I know
Okay, I just want to, I'll let you go, but being a question and answer session, is there a question that you will be asking?
yes.
I mean,
She just needs some time to gather her thought because she's been waiting for a while.
Let me finish.
No. She's getting to where she needs to say. Can we allow her to finish,
Let me
please?
stick to my
I
stomach.
said from the beginning, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah, go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
Your daughter was kind enough to let me sit.
You don't understand. I work for my money.
Danny, 1 second, please.
Problem where there were nests of birds that were coming all over the, all over my.
Pooping on your car.
And we couldn't sit in it. At the time, I goes way back when Billy's mother was there. And she said at the time, there's nothing they can do about it or anything. So she temporarily gave me a place where I am now. I didn't park. I was fine with it, 6 to 12. I was fine, I was happy. There was no problem with parking. It wasn't like facing anything from parking. And I was happy. When I came back a few months later, she gave my parking away. I didn't say anything about it because I'm only waiting, 3 months out of the year. But now, there's a big problem with the parking because the workers here, I know they clean up the whole area, they make it beautiful. But what I happen to see 620, the company, several years ago when the hurricane and the plane fell down. And I said, I don't want to do any more, what's my views around. And they said to me at the time that they didn't have, they can't afford it. Now they can, I don't want that they could. But when they broke, they didn't take the bottom part out, the bottom part out, so it's still there. And I'm getting rocks and all kinds of berries and things from the old one. And it's constantly going, I'm very damaged and I'm breaking my head. And when people clean, I said, they clean all the time, but they clean out here. They don't pick up leaves, they do.
Madam?
They take.
Thank you. I mean, we get where you're going, and I really want to actually apologize that you had to raise this issue, because this is an example of what Woody's actually was saying. Whenever these issues are occurring with these problems that are not resolved, it's what basically we don't have access to management to resolve your problem.
No,
And if the access was there to resolve the problem,
Please, I mean, you can't have it both ways. One hand you tell me I can't do what you just did.
No.
But on the other hand, it's okay.
Well, because basically, yeah.
Please, let's keep the quorum, or we're not gonna get any answers or questions or.
It's very bizarre. They put something on the car that never came out. Then they put
We appreciate the input, but it's something that'll probably have to discuss with management to get it resolved. I just want to end one thing here, Danny, to clarify. I'm not circumventing the rule and regulation and law. I am just ensuring my privacy based on what I know it's occurring.
Marvin, let me explain you something. I was here in the last board meeting. They spent over 20 minutes about your issue. You understand? They make a vote over here and everything. And now you surprise me at all. You don't know nothing. When they told us, they email you, they knock on your door, letters and everything.
It's never been done, Danny. It's never been done.
Never been done?
Never been done.
Never been done?
Never been done.
Let me explain to you. If it's never been done, I don't know what we're doing here.
It's never been
I
done.
don't know what we're doing, you guys.
But Danny,
I really,
Yes,
just a second. Which is, sorry.
We should all leave and let you
Wait.
you didn't answer me.
Excuse me. All right, now this is why we get out of hand. This is what I'm trying to avoid. And you want to take it over, you want to take it over, you want to take it
I don't
over,
want to take
and this is where we go. And if that's the way we're going to go, there's no point in any of us being here, because you're not going to find out anything from any candidate. So enough is enough. Okay? Let's get the decorum back and handle it the way like grown-ups do.
Would you please speak to Marvin that way, like you're speaking to us
I'm
right
speaking to
now?
everybody that way. Doesn't matter who it is in this room. Okay? All right, now, I'm sorry, Mariano, I understand you wanted to speak. I will call on you too. I will get everybody.
The only follow-up I had from that question is, you're telling that you're going to release the information to the attorney and shut the attorney on it. That's right?
Strictly only to the attorney, based on, I do not trust the manager here. I know exactly what's been done by her at other buildings. I know exactly what's going on here. In my private, excuse me.
Wait.
All right, again, you want to get it out of hand, or you want to sit here and...
My private information is not going to be filtered out by the manager.
Okay,
Okay, that's his answer. End of story.
have you presented information?
I'm sorry, wait, please.
Folks, Mark is right, please,
That's the
let him call on you one at a time.
Please.
He says he's gonna call on
I will get
everybody.
everybody, please, just wait, please.
So, have you
Okay?
presented
Everybody else wants to run the
information
meeting, we're not gonna have a meeting. That's how it works, okay? We
You can
can't do
follow
it
up
that
with
way.
other questions.
Have you presented the information already or not?
It will be presented directly to the attorney.
So now,
No,
so
it
you
will
are
be
in
pre-
delinquency, so he
It will
cannot be
be-
a candidate.
It's not correct.
No, that's
That's not correct.
Excuse me, that's
It's
not.
not the same norm. Others tried and were.
But please, you
Disqualified.
can't make
Or
up rules as you
disqualified
go.
because
You
of this.
cannot make up
There's no
rules
rule,
as
the
you go.
rules are the
Please,
rules.
all right? You can't make up rules as you go. Okay, now, I'm sorry, yes, sir.
My question is, who was on the board when this manager or whatever is being decided?
Folks, please be courteous.
Please, again, Aaron, please, okay?
I mean,
I'm sure you want to be heard when you're asked, right?
if the board hired a manager
Could you ask
that
him to
has
repeat the question?
problems from
Yes.
other
Okay,
properties.
as a matter of fact, not everybody heard, so could you start the
All
question
right,
over
the
Alfred?
question is, who was on the board when this supposed manager problem issue with other properties and all of that was around when they were hired? Is there anybody here that
Well,
was?
okay, but again, remember, this is a meet the candidates evening, okay? It's
All right,
questions,
I-
please, just hear me out for a second, okay? Nobody wants to hear the explanation, it's just, no, that's okay, I got it now. The point is, you don't have it now. These are the candidates. The reason we're here is not to ask the board any questions. It's a matter of asking questions as to why do you want to be a candidate, things like that. And what would you do for us if you were voted as board members? That's the kind of questions that you really should be asking. Along those lines, I'll let Nick in a second, okay? But that's where we should be, not with, some of these things that are taken the right, left. That's sort of what happened last night too. We wound up and sort of lost track, and a lot of people I know walked out here saying, I didn't learn anything. Well, don't you want to learn something about the people you're going to be voting for?
Yes.
That's why you're here. So I will give everybody an opportunity, but remember, this is not a platform to say, well, this is what I don't like about Delvista, and this is what I don't like about, because we're only learning about you. We're not learning about them. It's a question, answer. That's it. That's why we're here, okay? So everyone will get an opportunity. Anybody that wants a question?
Mark, this is a point of order, not a question.
Sure.
These gentlemen are up here because they want to be on our board. They want to be in a fiduciary position. Mr. Udi, Lebowitz, Warren talked about their qualifications. I think that question is well taken, especially after one of the candidates said that the manager made scurrilous, or maybe not so, allegations about the manager. It's a point of order. I think that's a fair question about any of their backgrounds and fitness to serve on the board.
Okay, but again, is it a question to a candidate, or is it that you were looking as a question to board members or me?
I'm done asking.
Well, there was an assertion made that that our privacy is at risk. And if you're going to make an assertion of that nature, we're all here as homeowners. Our personal informations are there. So once you have already opened this Pandora's box by saying that there's a privacy issue with you sharing your information, if there is a legitimate concern, shouldn't we also be concerned about that matter? Our affairs are just as important as
Excuse
yours,
me,
sir.
Mark, I just think it is totally inappropriate for any candidate or anybody in this group to make assertions and accusations against somebody who is unable to defend themselves without any proof or any reasoning. We are here to meet a candidate and ask questions, not to defame and slanderize people who aren't
Good
here
point.
to defend themselves.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I know you have to, okay, please, okay, if you don't mind, I'll recognize you, yes.
Me?
No, actually, you wanted to go first, I promise you.
I can't believe
I
it.
mean that, yes.
I'm changing the subject, okay? This is for new board members, hopefully, and the present board. Twofold. The first one is regarding the assessment that we all paid for, which was quite a bit of money. And the fact that I don't think that it's been transparent as to how the money is being spent. I was able to read the contract, and I saw the spreadsheet for all the design and the decorations. And interestingly enough, the area where it should have said the wholesale price and what we paid was non-existent. All it listed, and it was in such small letters, you needed a magnifying glass to read it. So that's not transparent. We don't know what you paid for everything. Also, the second part of the question is on the changes in the design. We approved the items that were, the renderings that were in the lobby. We agreed, we disagreed on certain things were changed. But after we all agreed on it, and we got the catalog, we're not getting that. Other changes were made. The wall covering was changed to a cheaper wall covering. A lot cheaper, yes. And there were other issues with the border on the tile, the lighting. We're paying for it. Why weren't we given a choice as to what to replace that with? And why was it to be replaced? I mean, we were told that, oh, well, they ran out of the wallpaper. They couldn't get the wallpaper. That's a lie. Because I was in that business for years, and I know we could have. As far as that chandelier that was changed, that was a crystal chandelier. They're all over the place. We could have changed it for the same style, and maybe even cheaper. But do we know that? No, because on the contract, those two columns were not there. And I would like to know why, and in the future, what will happen when we have a renovation.
Are you directing this question at all?
All of you, because it's interesting to know. I don't understand why this is left to
first?
out.
Would you like to go first?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for actually reviewing the actual document itself. Thank you so much. And because it's a responsibility, I believe, that we all have as homeowners. For us, I don't know everything. And I don't know everything, and that's something that, that one has to get used to, that one has to be comfortable with in terms of resolving problems. But what I could promise you is that I will consult with the persons who have the skills in terms of reviewing engineering or design. It's not my area, right? It's not something that I can actually critique specifically. But that issue that you have, it's not something that's not required. It's not required that the board has to get down in the nitty-gritty. Basically, at this level, at the board level, what you're having there is a transparency problems in terms of getting information. And I do agree with Udi in terms of the website. Having a website that's up to date with the information that you have, you should have been able to access that information on the website on a timely basis. So I do concur with one of the suggestions that he has in terms of with the website, that is suggestion in terms of solving it, number one. But also having these documents, I earlier suggested that one of the things that we need to have would be a forensic audit. With this issue that we have with this contract, it needs legal review. It needs in terms of in terms of compliances, in terms of the applicable things that were done. And we have so many homeowners here actually who happily review things for our own. So we're not necessarily talking about expenses, but what I can say is that getting the proper person or talking to the proper person to fix the problem, it's not a bad thing, because I've learned not to ask my plumber for financial advice. So that's my answer.
Well, I also would like to know when there are certain things were changed that were budgeted at the original cost, but were replaced with cheaper things. What happened to that money? How is it allocated? Do we get a refund? I mean, maybe we paid too much. But we want to know.
And that's why having you are correct. You are the client, you are the owner, you are the boss, and that's why having a forensic audit so we can actually trace to see where are the credits, where are the refunds, how many loans we have. I've actually been trying to track down how many outstanding obligations we have against the building, how many loans are we servicing, how many accounts. But we have to have a forensic audit to see what we have, and then we can figure whether there's a surplus, there's an excess, or where it needs to go. But they are all valid questions, ma'am.
Yes, and I'd also.
Sandy,
Sandy, let me answer one of your questions as being implementing and initiating this entire construction project, and I've been out of it now for a few months. However, your statement of items being replaced of a cheaper value, there were none that I know of. In certain things where there may have been changes, okay, for where we did not do, let's say, the protruding valet glass section that may have been shown in the rendition because it wasn't feasible after through engineering. Those are items that the board is going for credits to. So there are quite a few items that the existing board knows about and is going for credits to, but there was nothing actually replaced as far as a product to be an inferior and cheaper product that I'm aware of.
Well, I'm aware of it. And I know for a fact.
If you're aware of it, then he has to know about it.
Okay? I know about it.
Also, can I make one statement? I wanted to address your comment with a question with who hired the manager, and also Louise's, as I value your opinions very much and what you just stated, that Terry's not here to defend herself.
Exactly.
She doesn't need to be here to defend herself to me. Eventually, when the dust clears somewhere down the road, she'll be defending herself to the DPR licensing board,
Let's
not to me.
leave it at that.
Okay? I was on the board, the outgoing president at the time, when we interviewed candidates, and we hired the manager. She was not my number 1, 2, or 3 choice for manager. And when we did our due diligence, okay, our due diligence at the time only uncovered so far. And I'm embarrassed to say is down the road, what I found out and what others found out later is what it is.
all right.
Strong assertions
Can I-
now.
All right,
Oh.
excuse me.
Indefensible. The person's not here. Terrible. That person is no friend of mine necessarily, but the way you're talking about her and not defending her.
Paul, I've said these things to her face, so it's nothing that I'm
I
trying to
have a
hide.
third, I have a third candidate that would like to answer a question too, and I've given him an opportunity. So please, Judy.
So far, he's the only one with any manners.
As a property manager who oversaw several projects, some of them are several millions of dollars, very similar to what we went through. I came across very similar situations before. Normally, any contract that is signed is reviewed by the legal department, attorney, association attorney, whoever that is. In addition, any change orders, which has been a big problem here, should be confirmed by 2 board members, not 1. At least that's the culture where I come from with KW. And that's part of the transparency part of it. If there's been a question or an issue with something that was promised and not delivered, normally a contractor is not going to get paid in full unless, again, contract was not done properly. But I'm under the assumption, from a little bit that I've heard, that the contractor is owed a nice amount of money. So they're not going anywhere until we verify that everything was done according to the contract that was reviewed by the legal department.
Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. I know you were next, so.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to go back to the issue raised by Danny because I think the qualification of the candidates are pertinent to this meeting. This is why we are here, to talk about the qualification. So my question to Marvin will be, so I understand that you are willing to qualify this with a lawyer because of the concern.
With the association's
With
attorney.
the attorney, because it's also a legitimate concern about the privacy of the information. However, my question to you is, are you committed then to clarify this issue before, on a timely manner, before, so all the process is done, so everybody can get the clarity that that issue was or was not something that disqualifies you for this position? Are you committed to do that on a timely manner?
I'm committed to doing it. I don't know whether it's going to materialize on the attorney's part by that, but I don't think that has any bearing, because I'm confident in the information that will be provided directly to the attorney, that it will clear any type of hurdles. And I do want to also say something about this issue with pets, okay? We maybe have 30 to 40 pets, call them comfort animals, call them service animals here in the building. Maybe 3 or 5 or 6 of them are legitimate. The rest of them are all phony bullshit. And I'm speaking straight from
Very classy.
factual facts, okay? Facts are facts. And it's like that, not just here, but in other buildings as well. All right? So I am not circumventing anything whatsoever, but like I said, confidentiality, private matters, and knowing what I know and the distrust that I have in what's going on in this office, I wouldn't encourage anybody to provide any private information whatsoever that can be out.
Okay. This gentleman here.
Yeah, I have a question to Paul and Woody, the specialists, because I know the answer from Marvin. If in any reason, any issue, you go and hide behind the association attorney, and he tells you not to disclose the information, what you both would do.
Okay.
Because I know what Marvin would do, not disclose it. The attorney advised me not to disclose the information.
Okay, I got you.
Thank you.
Well, as interestingly, some people sometimes use the attorney defense as if the attorney directs the ship, but the attorney is in fact a consultant, an employee of that agent. In this case, the agent would be the board. The attorney is welcome to provide their counsel, their advice to us. At the end of the day, the decision to disclose or not, the board, me, I.
You.
For example, me.
Oh, okay.
For example,
That's the point.
this issue that with the compliance with the dog, this is not an issue that needs to be cleared with the attorney, because the attorney is not the board. The board makes the decision. The board is there, the attorney is there to provide legal counsel as to what are the checklists and the requirements. And then the board makes a determination. So the response that my fellow candidate here actually has shared with you has actually left me rather very disgruntled, because first you stated to us that you were not aware of the violation notice, and then you admitted that admitted indirectly that you were aware because you were speaking to the attorney. And then when someone else asked you, have you provided the documents to the attorney, you said, not yet. So the responses keep changing. I rest my case.
The response hasn't changed at all. My official statement is that the attorney will privately review the documentation that's been requested because of my distrust in the manager. Simple, plain, and that's that. As far as Danny asking me whether I knew what took place at the last board meeting and whether I was fined or not, no knowledge about that until I heard that this evening. Clear, cut, and concise.
That's it.
Aaron,
Marvin, just only have a question. Nothing against
Yes,
you.
Aaron.
My only question is, who's going to pay the lawyer? Are you going to pay by yourself, or me have to pay for that?
No, he's going to pay it.
You pay by yourself?
Of course, why should I pay for him to get it out?
I don't know, I want to be sure, because we spend a lot of money. I live here for 18 years, I make people know. I know you for a long time. How many we pay for lawyer for sometimes for nothing? And nothing against you, just to tell you.
For your information, I believe our attorney has to review every document for every pet request that's here.
No, I'm talking in general. You're talking about the manager. I'm not talking about the pet. Pet is another.
Well, I'm not understanding your question.
You're talking about the manager. They have to know something about the manager. Blah blah blah. That you don't want to disclose.
That has nothing to do with any cost to the association whatsoever, so I don't understand your question.
That's my question. That's my answer.
Doesn't have
If you want to pay for
Do
that,
not disclose information when the attorney says you cannot do this to the tenants. So basically, you call and you say, okay, we'll be open, we share with you everything. All of a sudden means that if the attorney, you say to me, if I ask you, oh, my attorney advised me not to discuss this information, I cannot do this, so I'm in deep hole because I don't get any answers.
You're telling me that I said that, or you asking?
No, I'm asking.
I have not answered.
Well, you didn't answer it.
Okay, now see, this is what happens. You open the door a little bit, and all of a sudden we lose. And that's not why we're here, okay? So again, please, okay? If you want to be heard, raise your hand. I will get to you. I know the frustration. You can't be one that I recognize right away, but I'm going to get to you. So please, give us a chance. If you have another question, all you got to do is raise your hand. That's it.
Yeah, but
We'll
it's
recognize.
continuing.
It's not,
I mean,
and so it's continuing. That's why
then
we're
we
here.
change the subject and then I forget what I want to ask.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I have a
I can bring my authority with me, so you
Right. Okay, but let's continue. All right.
He didn't answer.
Huh?
He didn't answer. He didn't answer. We didn't hear you because everybody was talking here.
Okay. The question was from Aaron. Oh, wait. The last question that was recognized came from Aaron, right, to Marvin. He answered it. Bingo. As far as I know, we're cool. Okay?
Well, but I asked 3 of them and there's only one answer.
I know, but wait a minute. Again, did I recognize you? No. Okay. All right. So, I'll get to you all. I know you had your hand up for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
My question is to Udi. When we had our renovation, the proposal, we were shown one rendering. We had to accept it, the board voted on it, and they said that's what it is. I have since learned that legally we should have had 3 renderings. And we have 441 whatever apartments here. 433. Whatever. And basically we should have really looked at it and people should have given it their opinion. You can put a little ballot or whatever, and then the majority is the ones that decide. The board picks the 3, but the people pick the one that goes. How would you handle it? Because that's not the way it was handled.
We didn't get the one.
We got the 1, and it didn't come out. It didn't come out like that, but it's 1. When it was decided, we got the 1.
Okay, I think there's a question on the floor, right?
Totally. I want to see how he would handle it.
So first of all, we have to look at the condo docs. There is a specification for amounts in which you need to obtain more than 1 bid. Every association, every building, it's different. However, as I said before, for transparency purposes, and specifically with $5.2 million project, I would have gotten 3 bids sealed that are opened only in a board meeting in front of all the board members, so nobody can play with the numbers or change anything, and then present it properly, or correctly to everybody in the building.
But would you present the 3 rendering to the
Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
Okay.
Well, no, we will have 3 bids. And we will choose from the 3 bids perhaps 2 selections, or we'll do 4 bids. We can get 5 bids. There's no limit to how many bids you can get. And then we'll display in the front by the lobby, this is what it's going to look with this company, this with this company, choose.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
We did something similar with the painting not too long ago, with the white and light blue.
And it never happened.
Well, in fact, it should, because the association documents, the association documents basically states that whenever any area of this common area of the association is going to be modified, that's what the association document says, not Paul Warren. The general owners, it has to be approved by the general ownership, in addition to what Udi was saying, which were the first
You're
steps.
talking about material alteration, Paul.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, no, but I mean,
Okay.
that's what I wanted to hear, because I was very unhappy how it ended
Okay,
up.
let me move on. We have other people that want.
I'd like,
Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, no assertion, very simple question, maybe I just don't know. Anybody who wants to answer, you guys, who decides who is qualified to be a candidate for the board of directors?
We
Can
do.
anybody?
you do.
I never had a paper to say that you want this guy. Or, I never saw it until 2-3 weeks ago, and that's not proper way to do it. Okay, second question, is the conflict of interest ever considered in letting somebody be a prospective candidate? Yes or no? Anybody can tell me?
Yes. Yes, it should be. However, that's a very good point that you bring, that we need to actually modify our association documents to reflect that, because we don't have that, in fact, in our association document. That if there is a conflict of interest, it should be a consideration. For example, if I'm offering myself to run on the board of directors while I am an executive of JP Morgan Chase, and then therefore I decide that I want to have the association's account of whatever $1 million deposited in my branch so I can make a bonus.
That's a conflict.
That's a conflict of interest, but it's not written in the association documents, and an excellent
that's
point.
logical, I understand that. But how can 450 people decide that who qualifies who or not? That's impossible.
If we have it,
should be
it
a
should be in the
strike.
That's why we have this
Yeah, but they don't let even, they don't let us even to talk. You can only ask questions. Okay, that's why I'm frustrated, because I don't understand what's going on
I
here.
want to answer
People
your first
who
question.
obviously,
I want to answer your first question,
Yeah.
because you forgot about it already, you jumped to the second question. Let me just,
Nobody else.
no, I don't want you to, we don't want to forget,
Okay.
okay? You asked why we're here 3 weeks later, correct? After you said you've had this 3
Papers.
weeks ago, the papers, but now it's the night of meet the candidate. I agree with you 100%. Normally, and the correct procedure will be, once you get the candidates, this is when you do meet the candidate night.
Correct.
Within 3-4 days. Then you do the mail out.
Right.
Correct.
So by the time people receive it, they know who to vote for and not
Makes
running
sense.
around.
Makes sense.
This
But
has always
so
been,
far I don't
always been
see
a
it.
problem, and I have stated that numerous times, that it should be a meet the candidates night after the candidates are accepted, and then after the mailing should go out.
But his question
A lot
was
of the
not that.
memos
His question
have
is,
names.
who determines who's qualified or not?
Who did
What's the answer?
You,
You.
the people.
But the board first.
Look, here we go.
There is in the docs, let him answer the question.
I really, wait. I don't want to be a focal point here, because I'm not, meet the candidates again. I'm not here to tell you you're right, you're wrong, tell you what the law says, it's not my job, I'm not an attorney to begin with. But the point is that, again, we're losing focus of why we're here, which is, again, to meet the candidates. Some of the questions that have come up are legal questions that, of course, would take place in another setting, not in this setting. If you want to ask legal questions of these folks, and they want to give you their opinion on legal, that's fine, okay, they can do that. But the point is that you can ask any question of any of these candidates and get whatever answer you
Mark,
may get.
I think, with all due respect, my question and his question is very pertaining to the discussion. Who decide who's qualified and who's not? Because I'm not gonna vote for somebody that is not qualified.
Well, you do. Again, it's been said,
So-
you do.
So anybody can come in and put their name on the list?
Yes.
No, wait, okay, let me explain this. I'm gonna make this simple. I am gonna make this so
That's totally different
simple.
from what Paul said.
Can I please speak? You asked me to speak. Okay, now I will speak. Now, excuse me, I wanna put this to bed so we can move on,
Yeah.
okay? What's the difference whether it's a condo that has people that put their name in, that are meet the legal qualifications in order to run, different than any political position of people.
Correct.
That run for the President of the United States that are qualified or not qualified. They are there.
I think it's easier than that. You have to be a homeowner, you can put your name forward.
Exactly.
End of story.
Exactly.
When you're president, you have to be 35, you have to be a citizen, natural born, native born citizen. But there's no such qualification in our docs. Am I correct?
Correct.
So if that's the case, why was Paul talking about people being disqualified for run?
No, that has to do with something.
May I just add?
No, that's
on
ethics.
the-
Conflicts of interest.
Please, okay, here we go. Okay,
Give me 2
again,
minutes.
we're losing control here, so please. Okay, yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Zion Avasar, and I've been an owner for 35 years, from the beginning. I own 2 units. I don't live here, but I come here often. I want to know, I own 1,000 units back home. This is what I do for a living. I'm an architect by trade and a designer. I've been watching the progress of the renovation. It's the worst job I've ever experienced in my life. I don't know who's watching, who's doing, there were changes made, which is okay, whatever it is. There are problems, nobody ever notified, there was never progress of work. I see people, there's nobody working, nobody watching. And when you come up with questions to the board, it says, guys, what's going on? Nobody talks to you. Nobody gives a damn about you. Nobody even looks your way. And you come in, you know, I come here every time and I hear it's going to be done. Nothing gets done. I want to know who's the watcher of the watchers. How do you, how do you decide?
Again, you're
if
asking this of
somebody-
the candidates, so.
Well, that's what I want to know, how you guys going to be different from the old people.
Okay.
Marvin knows what.
So you want each one to answer? Each one?
I would like the president, because he's gonna have the most influence. Are you running for president?
No. There's an organizational meeting, after you vote in whoever's gonna be on the board, so that's a subsequent meeting, okay? So at this point, they just wanna be directors. They'll figure that out later.
No, but I mean, who does the board answers when he screws up? You know, I wanna know.
Wait, no, please. Again,
I
these
know.
questions.
Because whatever boards were in here,
the questions are gonna go to the candidates, the 3 candidates.
Ask me that
You're
question.
talking about checks
Okay.
and balances.
So if, Margaret, if you want
I
to
mean,
direct it first, go ahead,
okay,
answer the
we're
question.
all in the same boat, we all have the same interest.
Correct.
We wanna make the buildings better. These buildings should be selling for 3 times the amount. But from the beginning, you guys don't know, they had a problem and half the building was empty. They couldn't sell them, they had a problem. They brought an investor and he bought and he made them rentals. And that, from there on, it just went down. And we were trying to bring this thing up the level. I think it's in all our best interest to get this done. Now, these could do it. We are in the best place in Aventura. We got the best buildings, we got everything the best. Low, condo fee.
Location.
Why are we suffering?
Question.
Here.
You know,
Okay, again, let's go to the question that the candidates can answer, okay? Marvin, you said you want to go first?
Yeah,
Go first.
Sion, when I was on the board, I was diligently supervising the construction and very disappointed with the quality of work and tremendously disappointed with the quality of the supervisors that Capital provided to oversee the work. I was overseeing them. I was putting tremendous pressure on them to redo specific items that had to be redone 3 or 4 times because they were unacceptable. That caused a certain amount of delays. Okay, there were. We also have an owner's rep, and the owner's rep reviewed every iota that I presented to him for review, and basically thoroughly agreed with me on every item. Certain people felt that we were putting too much pressure on Capital, and they weren't going to meet my, as they quoted, ridiculous expectations for a level 4 or level 5 finish. I would have been very happy and acceptable with a level 4 finish. As a contractor, I'm very meticulous in my work, and the clients that I work for would never pay me if I wasn't delivering to them not a level 5 finish,
Excuse
but
me,
a level
but
6 finish.
I
Okay?
understand,
So
but
I want to continue.
my question is,
Go ahead.
who hired them?
We hired, right?
No,
Okay.
who's we? You,
board. The
you,
board.
for a year you researched, you told me. And for a year you
Not
went,
a year.
and when the guy,
2 years,
when
2.5
you signed the
years.
contract, you did, and I told you, you gotta have timing. And when they don't perform, you fire them. There's plenty of contractors. There's plenty of this, and you find them, you have a conduct.
Sam, I want to continue to address that, and so that everybody hears this. When we finally narrowed down to capital, and I'm going to go from Sion, and I'm going to also address, somebody had asked a question also about the process of how we got to where we got with the presentations, with designers and so forth. We started the process by interviewing about 5 or 6 interior designers. Okay, we had several preliminary meetings with them and gave them our expectations and what we wanted to achieve. Okay, designers came back to us with preliminary and specific information, and then also their fees to have them present renditions. Fees ranged with each designer anywhere between $55,000 to about $118,000. We were not going to spend $55,000 to $118,000 with 3 to 5 different designers to then just narrow one that we wanted to work with. So we discussed this, we hashed it out, we had further meetings with the designers to see who we were comfortable with, and we basically brought it down to 2 designers. Capital, which offered a great plan because they had everything in-house. The other designer we paid a fee to, I think it was that we decided on that we liked very much. He was very innovative. And I think we paid him bespoke a $20,000 or $25,000 fee. Is that about right? Okay. And each designer put forth their plan. Okay. And then each design we reviewed went to a contractor. And the value that we achieved with capital, which was the design that we really liked the most, came in at about $1 million or $1.1 million less than the other design.
And you got your money's worth.
Excuse me? Okay.
You got your money's
Okay.
worth. All that process is irrelevant. You've decided, whatever cost was, you guys decided to go with capital. When you go with capital, you decided, doesn't matter what it costs, 50, 100, 300. You came with a budget, you decided on the contractor, you wrote a contract. And in that contract, you specified timing, materials, design, everything changed. Everything changed. And nothing got done.
Sam,
Right.
also, certain things, to clarify, changed, not for reasons that the board made aesthetic changes, but mechanical changes and compliance when items came out of building department review, out of fire review, out of upgrade codes, etc., that are stipulated later and demanded.
That's why you go. That's why you go with a qualified contractor who done. You told me they did 10 buildings here. They knew all that shit. They went through the whole thing. This is bullshit. This is all crap. This is all crap. You know, listen. You can tell these people that. You can't tell me.
You're making your point. So you
I'm trying to. This is frustration.
I know.
It's not at him. It's not at anybody.
Listen, I get you.
As an owner,
We understand, we get you.
But please, that's disrespectful to the lady.
I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
See,
But I'm trying to educate you.
But you communicated the point and we agree, yeah.
See,
We understood.
You know,
Please
whatever it is,
please
I'm not blaming you.
No, please understand
I'm
that
not
the laws,
blaming the board.
that the laws of construction and planning and a fire review in Florida are totally different than they are in Maryland, Virginia, or
Yeah, but
anywhere
this
else.
guy's a Florida contractor. He's not a Maryland contractor.
I'm just saying, what you may be used to dealing with.
He's not from Maryland, he's here.
Right, but you're making
He's
your
done buildings, you told me, he did some buildings here, you should know that.
every building. Hold on. Every building is different.
Folks, please, let's listen to the party.
Look, I'm not gonna go. I gotta go, but I'm gotta leave.
I think your point is.
You guys got to go,
Your point is well
start doing some research, and see if the new board qualifies to do the decisions that the condo needs. So far, the boards before were not qualified to make the decision for us. Now, you either have to come up with your agendas, who you are, what your qualifications, how you can help, so we can vote better. So we can give our votes. If you can do that, that's great. If not, we just have to maybe get outsiders to do it.
With all your
Again, that's
experience,
why we're-
why
that's
don't you run for the board?
That's why we're here.
Anyway, I'm sorry I have to go.
Okay.
I didn't mean to be mean or anything. I care about the building. You know, because believe me, I can afford to buy the best condo here. I love the building. I'm here because of these people.
Thank you, really.
I want to see.
Okay, wait, before you have, Marvin, enough cross conversation, we've just lost it, okay?
Mark,
So,
I would like to say something, even though he's gone.
go ahead.
I don't know, I'm the forgotten kid here today, but that's okay. I'm listening, I love to listen to what's going on here. The biggest problem and why we are in this mess with this construction is very simple. And correct me if I'm wrong on this. We were supposed to hire an external project manager throughout the entire project. Not someone from Capitol, someone from outside. Who is that?
Andy's our owner's rep.
Well, then you haven't addressed to all the problems.
He has addressed all the problems. He has all the notes on all the deficiencies and all the problems. Every single one. They're all documented.
So why don't you say that?
I did state that. I stated, maybe you misunderstood, that we have an owner's rep. And through all the walkthroughs that I would do, and I would do walkthroughs at 11, midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, make my notes, and then I would give them to our owner's rep coordinator, who's a GC, working on our side.
Who's that?
That is Andy, okay? He is our owner's rep from Cornerstone, working for us. He would review my notes and my deficiencies and my marks that I would put stickers on walls and so forth. And he would either agree or not agree with them. And about 99% of the time, he agreed with every one of them, and in meetings with Capitol, ordered those deficiencies to be corrected. Capitol, and many times, agreed with him, acknowledged him, and went to make the corrections, and couldn't make the corrections the second or the third time, which is very disappointing. Now, what I want to state is when we hired Capitol, and I went to review buildings that they were working in, and we did walkthroughs with them, and on 2 or 3 properties, as they were working in their buildings, I would periodically drive by, spend about 30, 40 minutes there, watch the work going on, and then when we had meetings with Capitol and we were coming to our final agreement to hire them, I specifically told them in front of Mark and in front of others, I want the quality of work that you have delivered at Williams Island 3000. I do not want the quality of work that you've delivered at this building or that building, and I'll do a walkthrough with you, and I'll show you what my concerns are that are unacceptable to my meticulous standards that I want to achieve here. And I said, if you can't do that and you can't deliver the job that I want to see out of the great work that you're doing at Williams Island 3000, say no more. We won't move forward. They assured us that they would deliver that level 4 to level 5 work. Okay? And I'm disappointed that that is not the level that they delivered, and a GC is only as good as their subcontractors. And if you have your subcontractors on a job that are not good qualified subs when it comes to framing, when it comes to mudding, drywall, etc., you are not going to get a meticulously finished product. I was removed after I was off the board because two specific board members who don't know a light bulb from a tulip bulb thought that I was putting too much pressure on capital and wanted to handle it themselves. Okay? So I am not satisfied with the quality of work that was delivered, and I have relayed, instead of communicating with the board, the manager, or those members, I did my due diligence even when I was off the board and would do walkthroughs through this building at night, 2 hours at a time, and I would give all my findings to Mark, who would then share them with Andy, our owner's rep, and that was my limit of power, hopefully, that those things were going to get taken care of and done to an acceptable manner. And that's where we are.
And then what did Mark do with it after you gave him that information?
Followed up on it. Followed all up on it.
We still have a shower.
You touted your experiences having been on the board. Yet you were the president when this contract was approved, unless I'm mistaken, because I read the contract. You were the only board member that signed it. At the board meeting, you recommended capital be accepted. You were also president of this board when 2 lawsuits were filed against the association. One for discrimination under the Americans with Disabilities Act, and one for personal injury causing emotional stress. In total, they cost the association $1.4 million. Now, you were appointed as the liaison even after you were kicked off the board in such a tumultuous period of time that the board had to remove you. The project is $300,000 to $400,000 over budget. In addition, it's 4 months overdue. And even though you made the comment that we don't pay everything until it's all done, my question is to Paul and Yudi, can you work with somebody on the board with that history causing so much damage to this association? By the way, in both lawsuits, there was a component of racist and derogatory remarks. And that's in the pleadings in the courtroom. So Yudi, you haven't had a chance, you said you've been the ignored candidate.
Yes. I did not expect that kind of a question today. But I know that I'm running for this board for what I believe in and what I'm going to bring in there. I would not care for Marvin's actions if they are going to be in any way derogatory or negative or against the association, and I'll be standing right there against him more than anyone else ever did, because I don't back down from anyone. And Marvin and I actually had a conversation about a couple months ago. He asked me if I'd like to run, and I made it very clear. I don't come for a vote. I'm not a voice. If I come in, I'm going to do what I think is right. It may not work for everyone, but I'll do what I think is right. That's it.
Paul?
Well, that's in terms of answering that question, as I said at the beginning, we need a quorum in order to make changes. One director cannot make changes. So we have a window that's opened right now, and I'm appealing to you all. Whether you decide to elect me or someone else, we need to elect candidates that are open to change. Because I personally, if I'm on the board with someone like my dear neighbor here and candidate Marvin, I will work with whoever I have to work with. But of course, there needs to be modification, and I will speak on your behalf. I may not be the person that we may not necessarily be the best of friends, but I'll darn tell you that I'll be your advocate. I'll stand up on your behalf and I'll say, this is wrong, and let's hear this person. That's what I can promise you on your behalf, to advocate on your behalf.
I want to add one more thing, that in all my years here, with everything that Al did mention, that supposedly Marvin is responsible for, I've also seen a lot of good things that Marvin has done here. And his dedication to the board has never, I mean, to be a board member and to do for Delvista is not questionable. But that does not take away from the other things mentioned by him.
All right.
I have a question.
I think, I don't know, what time is it? We still got time. All right. And I'm not sure if in all fairness I should have given Martin the platform to review, because what we didn't want was an inquisition, and that's what it turns into.
I want to answer a question.
Again, you're here as a candidate to field the questions that are coming at you. So, okay.
What do you want the board?
Your question is, why do I want to come back on the board?
Yeah.
Actually,
You know.
a very good question. Actually, I didn't want to come back on the board. I really enjoyed the year off the board and realized how much time was spent, again, taking away from my own two personal businesses. And the road board's kind of a breeze and an ease, because all I deal with is landscape issues and decor. However, a tremendous, overwhelming amount of members, of residents at this building, more than are sitting here, have asked me to run to straighten out